Well, friends, it's me again, your resident expert on escaping the good old USA to find greener pastures overseas. As an American who got fed up with the rat race and bailed, I'm here to give you the inside scoop on the best destinations for trading in your stars and stripes for a life abroad. We're talking affordable healthcare, reasonable working hours, and an overall better quality of life. Grab your passport and buckle up, because we're taking off on a first-class tour of the top spots across the globe where you can live your best life as an expat. No need to learn the Macarena or memorize the metric system. I've got you covered with my tried and tested tips for assimilating abroad without losing your American spirit. Let's do this. Some days I wake up, turn on the news and think, I need out. As an American, living abroad looks pretty appealing. Here are a few reasons why. Escape the rat race. Americans work more hours, take fewer vacations, and retire later than most developed nations. In many expat destinations, the pace of life is slower, and people actually use their paid time off. Sounds divine. Affordable healthcare. Healthcare in the US is notoriously expensive. Many countries offer universal healthcare, lower prescription drug prices, and overall lower medical costs. As an expat, you can take advantage of these systems, often for a fraction of the price. Experience new cultures. One of the best parts of expat life is immersing yourself in another culture, learning a new language, trying different foods, understanding cultural norms. It leads to a richer life experience, and you gain a new appreciation for diversity. Make new friends. As an expat, you'll meet other expats and locals with similar interests. You can bond over the challenges of adapting to a new culture and build friendships that last. After all, there's nothing quite like sharing a bottle of wine with someone who understands why you miss ranch dressing. Save money. The cost of living in many expat destinations is significantly lower. Your money goes further, and expenses like housing, healthcare, and childcare cost less. You may even be able to retire earlier, all while enjoying a high quality of life. As an American looking to escape the daily grind, I suggest setting your sights on locales where your dollar will stretch farther and the pace of life slows down. After all, what's the point of moving abroad if you're still stressed 24/7? For a chill European vibe without going broke, consider Italy or Spain. Gorgeous scenery, amazing food, history galore, and a lower cost of living. Sign me up. Between the Mediterranean lifestyle, affordable living costs, around 40–50% lower than the US, and the fact that I can still order a coffee in English, both countries are appealing. Friendly locals, a vibrant expat community, stunning beaches, and jungle trekking in Costa Rica sound pretty sweet too. The Pura Vida lifestyle is appealing, and at about 50% cheaper than home, my early retirement plans are looking more realistic by the day. New Zealand's stunning natural beauty and adventure activities are a big draw, even with costs of living only 10–15% lower than the US. The work-life balance and healthcare are enviable though. For a bigger change of scenery, Thailand, Vietnam, or Bali in Indonesia offer an exotic escape at a fraction of the cost. Gorgeous beaches, lush jungles, and historic temples galore for around 70% less than living in the US? Yes, please. The culture shock may be bigger, but at least I'll be able to afford regular massages to relieve the stress. Whether a European escape or tropical paradise calls to you, there are appealing options for Americans seeking refuge from the daily grind. Lower costs of living, natural beauty, adventure, culture, healthcare, work-life balance. The list of draws goes on. The world is your oyster, so start planning your escape today. What are you waiting for? So you've decided that the good old USA isn't cutting it anymore, and you're ready to make your escape to greener pastures. Before you go booking that one-way ticket to paradise, there are a few things you should consider to ensure your expat adventure goes smoothly. First things first, make sure you've got the proper paperwork in order. Unless you're planning to live off the grid in some hidden jungle utopia, you're going to need a visa to legally stay in another country. Do your research to determine what kind of visa you need for your destination and how to obtain it. The requirements and process can vary greatly between countries, so don't assume it's a quick online application. I've heard horror stories of people showing up with a one-way ticket and no visa, only to be sent packing on the next flight out. Don't let that be you. Money makes the world go round, so your finances should be in order before skipping off to paradise. Make sure any debts, loans, or obligations in the US are paid off or can be managed from abroad. Have enough in savings to comfortably set up your new life and explore all your exotic destination has to offer. Living abroad often means higher costs of living, especially if you end up in a tourist hotspot. Do research on average rents, costs of goods, and salaries for jobs in your new locale. You don't want any surprises. Lastly, remember to handle all the little details before leaving. Things like closing bank accounts, selling unwanted belongings, arranging mail forwarding, suspending or canceling subscriptions and utility services, and saying goodbye to friends and family. Leaving your old life behind for a new adventure is exciting, but make sure you've tied up all the loose ends first. Once you've checked off all the boxes, you'll be ready to embark on your new life as an expat in paradise. When I first moved to Mexico, adjusting to the culture shock of a new country was rough. Everything from the food to the pace of life felt alien. But after a few months, I started to settle in and embrace the differences. Finding work helped speed up the adjustment process. Scoring a job in your new country is key for several reasons. For one, it gives you purpose and a reason to get out of bed, which can be hard when you've left behind friends and family. It also helps you make new connections and immerse yourself in the local community. And of course, there's the whole making money thing. Unless you've retired early or are living off passive income, finding work abroad is pretty important. The challenge, of course, is that you're a foreigner competing in a job market you may not fully understand. When I first started looking for writing gigs in Mexico, I had no clue what the going rates were or how to effectively network. I made a lot of rookie mistakes, but eventually found my footing. Some tips for finding work abroad. Leverage your native language. Teaching English or doing translation work is a popular option for expats. Freelance if possible. It's often easier to find remote work you can do from anywhere. Build up your client base before moving if you can. Network like crazy. Don't be afraid to ask locals about job opportunities or put the word out on expat Facebook groups and at meetups. Consider a career shift. You may have to pivot into a new industry that values your language skills and cultural experience. An open mind will open more doors. Be patient and persistent. Finding work in a new country takes time. Stay positive and keep putting one foot in front of the other. The right opportunity will come along. Adjusting to life abroad gets easier with time, especially once you've found fulfilling work. But at first, everything can seem so foreign. My advice? Embrace the discomfort. The challenges of adapting to a new culture are what help you grow into a better, more culturally sensitive person. Appreciate all the little differences, learn to laugh at yourself, and maintain an attitude of openness. Do that, and you'll thrive living abroad. So you've decided to ditch the land of the free in favor of greener pastures. Welcome to the club. As an American expat myself, I've fielded more than my fair share of questions from curious friends and family about what it's really like living abroad. Here are some of the most common frequently asked questions I get. Do you have to know the local language? Not always, but it helps. A lot of countries cater to English speakers, especially in touristy areas, so you can scrape by without being fluent in the native tongue. That said, making an effort to pick up some basic phrases shows respect and will endear you to locals. And good luck navigating government bureaucracy without knowing the lingo. Don't you miss home? Of course, at times, but living abroad also gives you a chance to gain different perspectives and develop new traditions. And thanks to technology, staying in touch with loved ones back home has never been easier. While I miss some creature comforts, the experience of immersing myself in a new culture and gaining independence far outweighs any homesickness. Is it expensive? It can be, depending on where you go. Certain desirable cities are pricey no matter what country they're in. However, the cost of living in many places abroad is significantly lower than in the US. Rent, healthcare, and day-to-day expenses may cost a fraction of what you're used to. And in some countries, your US dollar will go a lot further. Do your research to find affordable destinations with a low cost of living index. How do you handle healthcare? This one requires planning. Many expats rely on private international health insurance to ensure coverage abroad. Some countries have high-quality universal healthcare that expats can access for a reasonable cost. In other places, private clinics catering to foreigners may be the only viable option. Make healthcare a priority and budget accordingly before moving overseas. Your health and well-being depend on it. Living abroad isn't for everyone, but for the right person. It can be an incredibly rewarding life experience. If you go in with realistic expectations embrace the challenges, and maintain an open and curious mindset, you'll find that life as an American expat is full of adventure. The world is waiting. What are you waiting for? So there you have it, folks. The grass may seem greener in other pastures, but each country has its ups and downs. At the end of the day, home is where you make it. Sure, some countries offer a better quality of life on paper, affordable healthcare, work-life balance, rich culture. But nothing beats finding your tribe, whether at home or abroad. The secret ingredient is you. Sprinkle yourself generously wherever you go. The right spot will feel like home when you find it. And if not, keep exploring. This big, beautiful world has surprises around every corner. Your best life is out there waiting, if you have the guts to chase it.